Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. It is a really wet and grey day, but I am not a fair weather photographer, so I'm still out in it trying to capture what I can. Now we are just by King's Cross and Coal Drops Yard at the minute, and I'm thinking to myself, it's so important to pick the right gear when you're taking photos. And I've been teaching friends of mine different basics and stuff like that. And the first thing I always tell them when they're trying to plan for a kit list is bring one lens and one body. There's a few of my friends that have got more than one body and definitely more than one lens, but I always tell them to pick one. And that's quite an important topic of conversation. So I thought today, as I have always been, taking photos with one lens, one body because it's fixed, I feel like I should talk about that and see what photos I can get at the same time and why it's important that, there is an overburden of choice with photography. And if you are faffing about trying to pick the right lens for the shot, you might be missing some moments. So having a lens, no matter whether it's a prime or a zoom, just go with it. It's also a lot lighter to carry, meaning less fatigue on you as well. Let's get into taking some photos, shall we? One of the first things that some people may see as a challenge, but I actually see it as a benefit with carrying one body, one lens, is the fact that you're limited. And the limitations can actually help you scout out your areas that you're taking shots a little bit better, find locations that you're actually going to be fit to shoot in. For me, I'm not going to, with a 28mm full frame, go and take a photo of someone walking across, 500 feet away, am I? Because you won't even see them. So you're going to play to the benefits of your lens and your camera. And that's why picking it before you come out and picking it for the weather, picking it for the area that you're in is very important. Now, some people like the detachable lens options, and that's great, but still try and focus on bringing one lens whenever you're going out and then keep that one body on you. It also gives you familiarization as well, and that's really important when it comes to just getting to grips with a camera, especially if you're learning new techniques or trying something a little bit different. So yeah, a whole variation when it comes to, the types of shots that you're going to be looking for and the challenges that entails, but also at the same time, being able to just get to grips with your camera a little bit easier, faster, and you can learn a lot more from it. Whenever I've been photographing things, whether it be with the Fuji system that I had before the Leica or now this Leica, it's very important to me to just carry light and just carry one thing at a time. And it has really helped me in the long run. And for me, as the sort of person that likes shooting wide as well, you have the ability to use various elements in your picture to capture more of the scene, and also use like leading lines like this, for example, to lead to a subject. Now imagine just there is where I want a person. And as if like magic, there is now someone. So I'm going to want to capture them as best as I can in the right position. It's going to be interesting. Now you can't get absolutely everything. For example, with my 28, I am too wide to capture the Samsung building and someone walking through the windows just up there. But this is where you play to your strengths, right? If I wanted to capture just someone walking through that glass and capture them as a silhouette, I'll take a 50, maybe even a 90 to capture the detail. But instead, with 28, I'm more capturing the whole building, and that's okay. So again, playing to the strengths of your lens and being able to just work around that will challenge you as a photographer and also help you at the same time. So for me, this usually wouldn't be too bad, but there is a curling pop-up stool thing. And for me, at this angle, it's very bright because the floor's white and you've got a bright red target on the end. To me, if I'm just trying to capture someone coming up the stairs, instantly with 28, your eye is drawn to all of that in the curling club over there. So that's where working the scene also comes into it. You're going to want to try as much as possible to just different angles, you know, shooting through things to capture the right thing at the right time. Yeah, may not be the original scene that I planned out, but it's still something, and it's certainly not as distracting as the original scene. So working it, and again, playing to the advantages of your lens. So taking a little trip on the tube to more where I usually shoot, more Soho, more South Bank sort of area. Rain slowed down, which is quite nice. Still really wet on the ground, so I'm still going to be able to get some reflections and stuff like that, but it's no longer making me absolutely drenched, so that's one good thing. Another thing that I want to talk about with the one lens, one body situation is it helps when you're a beginner to get familiarized with your lens. I mentioned this right at the start, but when you are buying loads and loads of different things, it isn't because you want to capture everything, because you can capture a wide variety of things with just one body, one lens. I find that it's more going to be that you don't quite know what you're going to want to shoot and you have the fear of missing out. Try and get out of that habit as quick as you can. Buying all the gear and still having no idea is not going to help you when you're progressing in your photography journey. But what will help you is being able to familiarize yourself with the lens you have, get comfortable with the camera body, and just practice makes perfect, you know? So it's wet, grey and miserable, but I'm still out here taking photos. Look at the skyline, you can't even see it. Way over there into the distance is a mother and child, by the looks of it, playing on the beaches of the River Thames. See, this is a prime example where if you had many different types of lenses, you may opt for, I don't know, a longer zoom lens, a telephoto, something along those lines, but capturing it with my 28, you can't really see anything, and it's just the way it is. So rather than waiting here, faffing about, I'm going to get closer. I'm going to walk along the South Bank and see if I can capture it from a different angle and work the scene. It's a slightly different angle, and I don't know, we can work it. Just see what happens. There's a load of seagulls as well, which might be good if they start flying about. It's quite funny when the waves come in, when it's slightly bigger of a wave, they all jump about. They're like, oh no. It's quite fun, actually, look. I'm still at the same spot. I'm sort of mesmerised by the seagulls that keep jumping and dancing around. But it has made me think of another point I did want to mention. When you are with one lens, one body, whatever, no matter what lens it is, it sort of forces you to slow down a little bit. Usually you're running and gunning, taking photos as you go. This sort of requires you to slow down. and really plan out your scenes and sort of capture something within it and sort of see how you like to shoot that way. Some people aren't fond of that way of shooting. I definitely am. And yeah, it's quite nice to just slow everything down. And I noticed that when I switched from a zoom lens on the Fuji to a prime on this Leica, I was much slower. I was planning out my scene a lot more, and I adapted my way of shooting to the lens, and I think that's vastly important for improving as a photographer as well. So just carry it light, just try it. Even if you're not used to it and you're used to carrying a bag full of gear, try doing something differently. Try one body, one lens, and base it on the weather, base it on everything else, and then see how you get on. It's a really, really enlightening experience as a photographer. And then you might, like me, come to love it and then only do that. So worth giving a shot, that's for sure. Anyway, enough looking at these seagulls. I'm going to see what else I can capture along the South Bank. So yeah, they're the photos that I got today, as well as some photos that I've got previously with this camera, where I would usually opt for, you know, zooming in or changing perspective. But because I had just this lens as an option, I physically changed my position or incorporated different elements into the scene to make the image more interesting. Hope this video gave you some motivation to go out and shoot with no matter what you've got, and just enjoy the day and travel a bit lighter, because trust me, it'll make you such a better photographer in the long run if you can continue to do that. Next week, you'll see me doing a bunch of other things on the tube, which I've also recorded today. So look out for that, subscribe if you haven't already. See you next Sunday. Bye-bye.